when I talk about the risks are actually of the three types. Okay, in the general category I am saying. One is the total risk, right? So what is a total risk? So okay, so there you are having a server. You are saying that without implementing that security measure in the place or security control in place, the risk it is presenting. Okay, so my server doesn't have any anti-malware. So the risk it is having to that malware can attack it. So that is the total risk. That means your risk existed before any control, right? You have implemented any control, so the risk that exists before that. Then there is going to be a residual risk. And what is your residual risk? So you implement the anti-malware. So that anti-malware is not going to give you the 100% security. So whatever leftover risk is there, that is going to be called your over risk. So that is going to be called your residual risk. Okay. After applying control, security control, right? Then there is going to be your secondary risk. So what you did, you implement the control, right? When a particular risk response trigger another risk event. So what is happening? Let's just say that I go ahead and I apply or I install a anti-malware. Now that anti-malware is actually what is happening? That anti-malware, when I apply that thing, what it did, it changes the bin file and it affected another application. Now that application become a risk for my organization. So that will be called your secondary risk, right? So when you are just trying to implement one security solution and it is triggering another risk event, so that will be called your secondary risk. Now we have a risk management cycle, right? So how to manage this complete risk, what is happening with this risk. So there are the different phase of the risk management life cycle. There is first thing is identification, that you are identifying the risk itself. So what you are doing, this is the phase one where you are identifying the risk. Now assessment means your analysis. So you are analyzing the risk, that when we do the analysis, that is either qualitative or the quantitative, right? That what is the risk, how it is going to impact us, giving it the dollar value, what will be the thing that will be affecting us, right? That will be the analysis part. Then there is going to be, after you find out that this is the risk, you will try to mitigate. Mitigate is rather than mitigate, what I can see, treatment of the risk, how you are going to solve this thing. So rather than I write these things, I think I don't have very good handwriting, right? So I can point out use the text box analysis. This is the analysis. This is here is your treatment, right? So this is the treatment phase. So in the identification, what you can do your asset valuation, right? Evaluating the assets, so which is written over here. Identify the critical missions, okay? And then threat analysis. You can do the threat analysis. What could be the threats and all that kind of thing, right? Identifying the threats, and then identifying the vulnerability. You can do the VA here, right? All these things you can do the VA. You can do the threat threat hunting, threat intelligence, gathering those things, finding the vulnerabilities, and critical assets. What are these things you can do to gather all that knowledge? That is the identification phase, right? So all these things in the risk management life cycle, they are in the identification part. Then there is the assessment. So you can see analyze the business impact and then the risk involved. So that is the analysis phase that you are doing. So in the analysis, we generally go and have two kind of the analysis. So whenever I am talking about the analysis, this is having the two kind of the phase. So I am just writing it down over this point. First is your quantitative, okay, or we can go with qualitative, and second is going to be your quantitative. So in this one, you are just, qualitative means giving them the value, like, showing them with the color red, green, yellow, or going with the high, low, medium, these kind of things you are going. And quantitative, you are giving it the figure, like this much dollar we will be losing to you to this. So this thing, we will be doing this, by the example. Don't worry, we'll be talking about this as well.